right, hi everyone. Okay, so I know it's taken me a while to get these videos done for you guys, but this one is going to be about Disney resorts. Just a few of the ones that I've personally been to. So the one that we stayed in recently was Port Orleans Riverside. Now I have stayed there previous without my boyfriend, and I loved it so much. Out of all the resorts, I loved it so much that I wanted to pick that one as the last one that I stay um, at Disney World. So anyway, the resorts kind of go in a value system. So they have the what's called the bottom kind of value resorts, which are going to be your Pop Century and Art of Animation. And then you're going to have moderate resorts, which is going to be your Port Orleans, your French Quarter, and your Caribbean Beach. And then they also have what's called deluxe resorts, which is going to be your Grand Floridian and your Polynesian. Now, those aren't all of the Disney resorts. So I think there's like 22 different resorts. And depending upon your budgets, if you go for value, I've stayed in the value. I've stayed at Pop Century. I've stayed at All Sport Resorts. I don't think we stayed at Art of Animation, but the only ones that we haven't stayed at was pretty much the deluxe resorts, because those go for quite a lot per night. So depending upon your budgets and where you want to be in the Disney bubble, they call it Disney bubble. So some resorts are located closer to certain parks. So if you want to be closer to Magic Kingdom, those are going to be more of the luxe side resorts. Or if you want to be closer to Epcot, then you choose whatever you want. But basically, those are the tiers of the resorts. Some of these I might cross over topics, so just know that if I talk, I'm trying not to cross over like food and transportation, but if I do and I have to repeat myself in another video, just know it all goes together. All right, so at each resort, if you haven't stayed on Disney property before, or if you have stayed on Disney property, you know that every resort has its own distinct smell, and they have their own distinct shop. What I mean by that is that so the French Quarter has their own little store, and they have things that just are for French Quarter. And the same thing with Port Orleans Riverside. It has certain things just for Riverside, like you'll find the mini ears. Of course, you'll find magnets and definitely some shirts and apparel that are just for that particular resort. But it's not going to be a whole lot of merchandise that's going to be different from each one, but it is going to have its own little niche. So if there's something that you like from that resort, then you should definitely get it there. So I've stayed on Disney property, and I've also stayed off of Disney property. I will say that for a Disney trip, it's a must for me to stay on Disney property. Budget wise, it's way better to stay off of Disney property, but to get a full immersive Disney World experience, staying on property it's just that cherry on top. So I would definitely recommend staying on property if that was something that you were kind of wondering if like you should budget for that. Definitely budget for Disney property. Definitely do it. It's just a must. Even if you don't do it, just do it one time and you'll see the difference. All right, so shops, everyone has their different smells. There's little things that each resort does for its specific location. So for us, we had a trivia at inside our little shop area. So every single day was a different trivia whiteboard, and if you answered all of the questions correctly, now sometimes they're a little difficult, but if you're a true Disney fan, you will know the answers to most, if not all, of the questions. You get rewarded with a big trivia pin. And it's not like a writing pin, like a pin that you pin on your shirt. And it's just one of those plastic button pins, and it just says, I answered all the questions to the trivia. So ours was Raymond, because he's the little lightning bug. So that was our little thing at our resort. Let's see. Oh, another big perk at staying on Disney property is you get special magical hours. So a lot of people already know this, but in case you don't, magical hours, basically you get to the park early, and you get to get in before regular public. So regular public, it opens at 9 o'clock. For special guests like yourself, you can get there at basically 7:45 for rope drop, and then you can get into the park at 8 o'clock and be on a ride by 8:30. And that does kind of make or break certain rides that maybe are a lot more popular, and you can get them done and over with and then on to the next popular ride. Also, if you stay at a deluxe resort, you get more special perks. So obviously, the more you spend, the more you get with Disney. All right. The other thing that I just included in Disney resorts is basically you get a full-time Disney experience. So I know that there are some properties, some rental properties, that people are starting to get the clue that, you know, people want to be immersed in the experience of Disney, and some people do and some people don't. But you can rent an Airbnb, and they have all of these fun rooms that are decorated, and you know, it could be really, really awesome. That's the same thing as Disney. So even if you don't go into a Disney resort, you can still get a good Disney experience. But I like to have a full immersive experience. You're hearing the music, and it's just super fun when you're booking a stay at a Disney resort. So yes, I know that there are some Airbnbs out there that have a experience for their rooms and the houses that you can rent, but I just feel like Disney just does it a little bit better. Also, another thing with Disney resorts is that people, first timers, don't understand that it is not all inclusive. So you do have to buy all your meals, and the only thing that's free is water, and you have to bring your own jug for that. So of course bottled water, it costs, but you know, tap little water fountain water is free. So it is not all inclusive, so that does up the price a lot for when you are dining. Let's see, water. Oh, another thing about Disney resorts, if you are going to stay on property, please be sure that you include a Disney resort stay day. So it's a day that you do not go to the park, you just stay at your resort and you enjoy it, because basically if you paid to stay at a Disney resort, you need to plan for a day to be at the resort. If anything, go to Disney Springs that day, but honestly, like, enjoy the resort because you're paying for it. And there's a lot to do at each and every one of these resorts. The other thing about Disney resorts is that the Disney app, You can easily check in from your phone. It's super, super easy. I'm not a technical guru, and if I can do it, anybody can do it. So just download that Disney app and you can just check in right from your phone, and you can also check right out. And it is so simple, so easy. You don't have to wait in that stupid long line when you come off your plane or you come out of that long car ride. You just zip, 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 and you can just go straight to your room. It'll say if your room is ready or not. So easy. Definitely get that app. Also on Disney property, the pools are slightly heated. I wouldn't say they're warm enough for 65-degree weather, but the pools feel about 70 to 71 degrees. Now that might be warm to some people, but I like it super steaming hot. But they do have it definitely at 70. So when it's really, really hot outside, it's not really, really cold in the pool, which I like because it's not a shock to my system. But I definitely do like that they have heated swimming pools. All right. Let's see. Okay, so for the individual resorts, so let's go for the value resorts. So value resorts, basically, those are going to be more kid driven. Those are going to be where they have huge character statues outside of the rooms, outside of the buildings. And they're going to have, so basically that is your, hold on, I'm getting lost in my little notes here. But basically the pools are heated and they do include a towel for you, so you don't have to bring your towel or anything. Let's see. Trying to read my notes. All right, also with the rooms, so in our room at Riverside, that's where it's going to have all your characters. Port Orleans is kind of a two-part resort system. So it has Port Orleans Riverside, and then it has the French Quarter. So in between the two, it's about an 8-minute walk, but they are considered separate, but together. It's so weird. But if you stay at Port Orleans Riverside, you do have access to go over to French Quarter, and you can use the pool and vicinities and everything. It's so hard to explain all of this in one video. So Riverside is only going to have the characters inside the room. The rest of the rooms, like French Quarter, the Magnolia Suites, and I can't remember if there's another one. I'm sure there is. I'm probably missing it. But those are all going to be standard rooms. They're just going to have like maybe some pictures on the wall of Tiana and the frogs and Mickey and Minnie, Goofy, and all that stuff. But Port Orleans Riverside, the 5th sleeper, is the one that's going to have your characters, and it's going to be all dressed up inside, if you know what I mean. So that's the one that we chose. That's the one we chose last time. That's the one we chose again. So it is going to have that 5th sleeper. It's going to come out from the wall from underneath the TV, and it's not a very comfortable bed, but for a little child, it will be perfect. I personally did sleep on it, and it was okay. It was all right. The ones that are going to have another character, so if you are going to up your ante as far as your room stay. They do have a princess suite. I think that runs you about 400, maybe 500 a night. So that one is decked out in royalty and all of the princesses, and yeah, it's definitely a luxury suite. I believe those might be in the Magnolia area, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. But as far as our stay, so this is something, if you haven't stayed at the Disney resorts, they do provide what's called these H2O products, which are supposed to be discontinued. They do still have the lotions and the bar soap available. But as far as like the shampoo and the amenities inside the shower, they're not H2O, but they feel and smell like they're the same H2O products. So I don't know. I did use them. I didn't use my shampoo that I normally would use, and everything worked out just fine. I will say for the water content in Florida, I guess maybe just on Disney property, it is a little bit on the hard water side, so you should definitely bring some lotion or use the lotion that they provide, because you are going to get dry. My skin was really, really dry. So that's just something for the water. I will say for the beds, because a lot of people kind of skip over the beds and the pillows. The pillows are amazing. I love the pillows. They're very soft. It's almost like a My Pillow experience, even though I've never had My Pillow, but people that have had My Pillows kind of describe them like these. And the mattress is like a medium to firm, so it's not too firm, it's not too soft. Maybe too firm if you like your bed really, really soft. I like my bed really, really soft. So does my mom, but we have excellent sleep in Disney resort beds. So comfortable beds, comfortable pillows. You do get little surprises. I don't want to ruin it for someone who's never been, but you do get little surprises with the towel service. Now, I was really disappointed with our particular room because they didn't really do a whole lot of fun stuff with our towels. They did like one time, so I thought that was kind of lame. But yeah, normally they do a lot more fun stuff with your towels and the little surprises that Disney does when you stay at their resorts. But I think they figured that we were adults and that we didn't need fun towel animals. So yeah, that was a bit of a bummer. Let's see, as far as noise and everything, you can hear people outside of your unit, so they're not totally soundproof. But as far as like hearing people next to you, I couldn't hear my neighbors. Hopefully they didn't hear us, but I never had a bad experience as far as like hearing other families or people next door to us on either side. So never had a problem there, but definitely when people are walking outside of your unit, you can definitely hear them, and them opening and closing their door. Also, with the app, the Disney app, it's a really, really cool experience. You don't use like keys anymore. You can use your wristband if you want to, but you can definitely check in and open your door with your phone, and it does a magical little experience. I won't ruin it for you, but it's so neat. Like, Disney just thinks of the most coolest, intricate things to just make it so special for when you're staying there, and including I didn't notice this last time because it's been like almost a few years since I've been to Port Orleans, but they have now included a Disney Alexa, and you can say, "Hey Disney," or you can say, "Hey Google," or "Hey Alexa," or whatever it is, And we used the little gadget to set an alarm, and it definitely provides a fun little service for a wake up call. So it does a randomized character. We got Donald to wake us up one time. We got um, Animal from the Muppets to wake us up. One morning we got Rocket from, gosh, whatever. Anyway, you know who Rocket is. If you don't, then you probably shouldn't go to Disney. What's that movie? It's at the end of the day and I'm tired. Oh my gosh. Anyway, it's totally gone. It's gone. It's out of my mind. So yeah, so different characters randomized will wake you up in the morning, so that's really special. Let's see. And I never ran out of hot water, so, but I don't know if anybody else has experienced that. Disney, okay, waking up, H2O, lotions, and yes, so I have 3 more sheets to go here. I had to write these really, really quickly. All right, so the French Quarter, let me talk about the French Quarter real quickly. The French Quarter is where you can get the Mickey beignets, the Mickey shaped beignets. And yes, they are the best beignets you can get on Mickey property, on Disney property, and that's including the Magic Kingdom. Now, I've never had the beignets at Magic Kingdom because I was told personally that the Mickey beignets at the French Quarter were the best, and they really are. So yes, you have to go to the French Quarter to get your Mickey beignets. Also with the Port Orleans, the mode of transportation is going to be by bus mainly. Basically only by bus to get to the parks. And this is where I'm talking about transfer information. So basically, the bus does hit up all of the ports. So the bus ports at Port Orleans, there's about 5, I believe, 5 or 4 of them, and the bus will go to each and every one of them. So if that's something that's going to deter you from getting to the parks when you want to get there, then you can always do a personalized transportation like your own car, the minivan, or an Uber or a Lyft. But yeah, we just use the buses. Now they do have a boat system, but that only takes you to Disney Springs and to Port Orleans. It does not take you to the parks. But I will talk about transportation in a separate video. All right, French Quarter. All right, so your value resorts are going to be definitely more towards the kid side of you, or if you have little ones. The value resorts like Pop Century and Art of Animation, they're the ones that are going to have the big giant statues of characters outside of your hotel rooms. And this is where you're going to find the Lion King. Art of Animation is going to be the Lion King, Nemo, Cars. It's going to have Ariel, so it's going to have all of those big fun characters, and of course everything's going to be just larger than life. Pop Century is going to have more of your decades, so it's going to have your 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. It's going to have some trivia along the walking paths. It's going to have some fun things from that decade, but basically that one's going to be more of like a nostalgic. It's not going to be so much as Disney characters, but Pop Century is really fun. That's where we stayed one time. I think we got like the 70s or the 60s, I believe. I can't remember, but it was very, very fun and very nice, and we enjoyed it, so I liked it. Let me see. Also, the resorts are geared towards that particular like cuisine. So at French Quarter and Port Orleans, you are going to have, that's where you're going to have your gumbo and your jambalaya. But you are going to have other staples as well. But some of the resorts, like the more moderate resorts, you are going to have like cuisine that is dedicated toward like that ambience of the resort. So I talked about values, the two value resorts. So the oh, also with Port Orleans and not Port Orleans, with Pop Century and Art of Animation, those have connector to the Skyliner. So you have a little bit more different transportation as far as like getting towards the parks. And again, I will touch all on transportation in a separate video. Oh, I forgot Riverside is pet friendly, so you can definitely bring your four-legged creatures to your resort with you if you have any you don't want to leave at home. All right, so the moderate, the Caribbean Beach and Port Orleans, they're not really going to have characters. They're going to be destination resorts. So what I mean by that is that anything that's above the value resorts, like moderate to the deluxe resorts, those are going to be, like I said, a destination experience. So like Port Orleans and French Quarter, they are basically all immersive, like as if you stepped into Louisiana. So the music, the plants, the ambiance, everything around you is Louisiana Bayou. And again, when we went to Caribbean Beach, the music, the ambiance, everything, it's like you're transported into the Caribbean. And Caribbean Beach also is the same thing, just like Port Orleans, where the buses are going to go to each and every port bus stop before you get out to the park. So that's something that, you know, a lot of people do care about, and that's something that Caribbean Beach also does. But the cool thing about Caribbean Beach is it also has a connecting flight on the Skyliner. So I know I said flight. I feel like you're flying, so it's a Skyliner. You're up in the air. So it does have a Skyliner option as well. It's like a connecting port for the Skyliner. So it does have a little bit more options there at Caribbean Beach. Also at Caribbean Beach, they do have spots where you can watch some fireworks. So it's a bit of a different experience over there. And Caribbean Beach, I thought, was such a beautiful resort. Definitely you feel like you're transported, like I said, to the Caribbean. It's super, super awesome. If it wasn't for Port Orleans, I probably would have stayed at Caribbean Beach. All right. Done with that one. Let's see. I'm sorry, I have to read my notes. We already talked about that. All right, so let's get to the deluxe resorts that we went to. So we did go to the Grand Floridian, and we did go to the Polynesian. Both of these are deluxe resorts, which means that they have lots of modes of transportation. You have the monorail, you have the buses, and you also have a boat, because these are connected to the Magic Kingdom. I will say that if you do go on the monorail, you are going to be security checked twice. That's if you're going into the park. So it was weird because we were at the Polynesian, and upstairs is where you go onto the monorail, and we had to get stopped for checking our bags for anything metal. So you do have to go through the metal detectors, and that does kind of slow you up a bit. But the rest of the time you don't have to get checked. But if you are going to go on the monorail, you are going to have to get checked twice. The second time is when you're actually trying to get into the park. So that's what I mean by that. Let me see. Located news. Monorail, yep. Go there. Yep. Oh, access to the pools. So we at our pool, at the one at Port Orleans, it was just open. You just kind of open the gate. I noticed at the Polynesian, you have to use your Disney wristband to get access into the pool. So I'm not sure how that situation is if you don't have one of those magical bands. Maybe they give you like a card for your room if you don't have a magical band, but I did notice that it is on lockdown at that particular resort. We didn't really necessarily go to the pools over at the Grand Floridian. It's just kind of the Grand Floridian. It's really, really big and massive. So we didn't really spend too much time on the grounds at Grand Floridian, but we did walk around the Polynesian, and I did see that on their gates for their pool access. Also, there's a different way of getting your food at the luxury resorts versus the moderate resorts and the value resorts. The value and the moderates are more of like a cafeteria style, like you just grab, you pay, and you go and eat. Whereas the deluxe resorts, like we ate at the Polynesian, and it was more like a restaurant style. So you go, you place your order, you get like a little square deal, and then you sit and you wait for your food to come to your table. I'm not sure if I like that or not, but I will address that in the food video, so this one doesn't get too long for you guys. I'm so sorry. Hotel extras, basically I noticed this at a few of the resorts. They do provide this at Port Orleans Riverside, and they also provide this at the Animal Kingdom, which they have s'mores or roasted marshmallows. Now the s'mores kit does cost $7 extra, but the just roasting the marshmallows is free for anybody from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. every single night. They roast marshmallows. So try to find that at your resort. It's really fun and really yummy. It's a good little treat. Also, every resort is going to have like something special that they do at that resort. So ours had fishing. It does have specific times, so that's why, you know, it's not late at night. I think our fishing, it ends probably like at 2 p.m. or 1 p.m. in the afternoon. So you kind of have to have a resort day to do the amenities that are there. It just depends on the theme of your resort where you're at, what they're going to have special for you guys. Also at the Polynesian and the Grand Floridian and at the Caribbean Beach, they all have firework outside places where you can watch them. I think the Grand Floridian is going to have a different place, but I did see where the Polynesian was outside and the Caribbean Beach was also outside. So we made it. We made it through the resort, Disney resorts. Again, that's just a few of the resorts from my point of view. There's probably way more other videos that you can watch that have all of the inclusive things for each resort, that you can choose which one you want to watch, which one you want to stay at. But I personally like the Port Orleans. I thought the bus transportation was sufficient enough. to be, you know, stopping at different parts of our resort. So I mean, it doesn't take that long, and you just put on some patient pants and you'll be fine. But yeah, I definitely love visiting. That's the other thing. If you stay at a Disney resort, you can go visit the other resorts and get a feel for them and see which one you might want to visit next time. So anyway, that's what we did. We did like 2 days of visiting different resorts. That's why we had a lot to pack into this video. But yeah, so hope this helps somebody. And if you have any questions on any of these resorts, the Caribbean Beach, the Polynesian, the Port Orleans Riverside or French Quarter, or Pop Century, or Art of Animation, just comment down below and I will get back with you. All right, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.